Hello and welcome to CAM in Action, a series of videos demonstrating the unique features and capabilities of Cloud Application Manager. In this episode we're going to be taking a look at CAM Analytics, a new feature that's part of the Cloud Application Manager 2.0 release. So, what is CAM Analytics? It's basically a customizable dashboard for the business, focused and targeted for business users to use, and it's about providing intelligence and information about all web activity or all activity within the browser. If we think about why you would want to use something like this, it's really about finding the needle in the haystack. SaaSID has the potential to generate a huge amount of data, audit events and records, but without knowing where to look in that huge amount of information, it's very difficult to understand how you can action on that information. So CAM Analytics provides actionable intelligence, up-to-date and relevant immediate information where it counts to the business. Let's look at some examples of how this might be used. We could use it to immediately identify application misuse within an organisation. That may be accidental, it may be intentional. We could also use it to understand how employees are interacting with web applications. Perhaps we could use that to increase their productivity, to understand workflow better, whether they're using the features and functions that they're expected to use. And we can use that to then potentially drive internal training programs to increase the productivity. Let's take a look at CAM in action. Before we go in and look specifically at the dashboards themselves, it's worth just looking at the nature of the problem. Here we can see the audit data, the raw audit form here. And as you can see, as we move up and down, potentially there are thousands and thousands of audit events in here. We've got lots of very useful information like the network type. Are we coming in from an internal or external connection, or maybe using a VPN? You can also see things like the page titles, as well as the applications themselves and the users and the times and the dates. However, with all of this huge trove of information, it's very difficult to pinpoint when something interesting has happened. And that's really what the dashboards are about. So first we'll take a look at the highest level view. In this particular use case, we have a couple of indexes here representing our data. First of all, we have a management index, and this is specifically looking at data from CRM applications, productivity suites and email. And we're looking at specific events that are going to drive this needle one way or the other. In other words, understand when data is leaving applications like Salesforce CRM, when people are potentially attaching data to email, and also looking at people using productivity suites to share information, such as Office 365, Google Apps, and SharePoint. We also have a productivity index. This can be used to look at things like social media, for example, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, chat, and social media updates. We can also potentially look at when people aren't using applications that perhaps they should. For example, CRM and Office tools, if they haven't logged into them, we can also see non-usage. We can further adjust these dials and apply weightings to certain aspects more than others. For example, we may not be interested in webmail attachments. We can drop that out and see the effect that that has on the dial. If, for example, we want to apply a higher weighting to people downloading information from SharePoint, we can increase the weighting as well. However, that's a very high level view. If we want to drill down deeper into the information, let's click on Salesforce exports as an example. So here we can see those same pieces of information but represented in a comparative analysis graph. Here we're looking at previous month to this month, and we're looking to understand, as always with analytical analysis, some kind of change in statistics, some kind of change in the order of events. For example, on this day we can see that there were significantly more exports, and we can analyse and click on this to drill into that further. So I've now isolated that data set. If I now move into our Salesforce specific tab, we will be able to see that on this day 2 reports were run by a number of different users, and we can further drill into that information. For example, click on the all contacts, and we can see the users that ran that report. We could drill even further and look at the top exporter of data on that day, and ultimately move into our audit tab view where we get to see the specific information. SaaSID Cloud Application Manager is also able to enrich the audit data with interesting information from any event within a web application. For example, here we can also see the name of the report and the format in which it was exported. As well as providing us with specific application information, CAM Analytics is also able to provide us with a broader view of web application usage within an organisation. For example, here we're looking at a high-level dashboard providing us information like what type of networks people are accessing the applications from, and also the times of day that they're accessing those applications. We can then see the top users and the top applications in use, but as with the other dashboards in CAM Analytics, we're able to interact with them. For example, I can click on YouTube and it will filter the data and tell me my top YouTube users. I could then, for example, select the top 5 or 6 YouTube users and filter my data further and drill into the audit data itself. And for example, in this situation, we have enriched the audit data with the specific videos that are being played and used. CAM Analytics is completely customizable to a customer's requirements and needs. In this example, we can see where people are sharing logins. In this case with Salesforce, they might be sharing accounts where they shouldn't be. We can also see top network traffic, the applications that are being used, and we can see whether they are managed or unmanaged applications to SaaSID. Any data can be represented on the dashboards in CAM Analytics. Here we have some information relating to the browser usage, and we can see that Chrome is at the top, but it would also map all of the different types, whether that's mobile or desktop browsers. We can also see the operating systems in use across the organisation, as well as the time of day and the networks that are being used. Really, anything can be mapped and presented in a dashboard in CAM Analytics. Hopefully that's given you a good idea and understanding about the capabilities. I look forward to seeing you next time in CAM in action.